Hi, everybody. Yep, we're live. Okay, and it is 7:30. So, wow, perfect timing. Okay, how are you all tonight? What a beautiful day we had today. It started out a little rocky, didn't it? A little iffy, but as the day went on, it got pretty nice, pretty warm. Joey and I were out on the patio, out on the pavilion for a while this afternoon. Um, Yeah, it was just pretty, just a pretty day. Had the ceiling fan going in the pavilion to keep the bugs away. It looks pretty good. Anyway, so here we are. Uh, what's happening? Let's see. Well, the new catalog is well underway. Went live the beginning of the month. And so we're in our second week of catalog of new annual catalog. Gosh, it's almost time for the Christmas catalog to come out, isn't it? Uh, um, yes, it is actually. It's kind of right around the corner. So, let's see what's happening. Well, I told you last week about the new joining special, and that is still on. Um, that's $99. You get the $125 worth of product, free shipping, but you also get all the in colors that would be Pretty in Pink, Petunia Pop, Summer Splash, Peach Pie, and Shy Shamrock. So you get all these colors, paper, ink pads, blends, I think, and no, not blends, markers, paper, in color, designer series paper, and cardstock. You get all of that in addition to your what you pick for your $125 worth of product, and this just shows up in your box when it comes with free shipping. So it's a very cool deal if you have some things in the catalog that you really like. Hi, Carol. Hi, Susie. If I wasn't already a demonstrator, I'd go for it. And actually, it's kind of funny because that is how I joined. It's a little over 6 years ago now. When I joined to be a demonstrator, there was a special going where you got ink pads in addition to the items that you picked. And I think I also got a free stamp set or a free bundle or something like that. Plus my $100 worth of stuff, $125 worth of stuff. It was a very good deal, and here I am, six and a little over 6 years later, still here. Okay, what else? We have a new kit. We have actually two new kits, but I just chose to show you this one today. This is City Lights or City Slights. I'm not sure which. I just thought it was pretty cool. You get enough supplies, you get everything you need to make 8 cards. And you get the sayings, the greetings here. You can see them here. They're in a couple different languages, but they're in English. I know there's a happy birthday. I don't know what the other ones all say. I really don't. But it's kind of an abstract city lights or city skyline background. The envelopes are really pretty. You do get an ink spot. You get a block, some dimensionals, and that's the stamp, if you can see it. But so what you end up with is these cards. And they're pretty. $21 for that kit. Tell me if you want it, and I'll order it for you. I know there's another one out. Um, it is hollyhocks, something about hollyhocks. And so, as it says, it is hollyhocks. So that's all there is going on right now that I can think of. So I'm going to just cut me right out. Well, before I cut me out, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do tonight. So I picked out this bundle, Layers of Beauty. This is it, Layers of Beauty. Okay, you can see it better that way. As you can see, it has a nice big floral. The bundle comes with this stamp set, dies to go with it that have all these pieces and all of this and those pieces, and it has some more flowers or more leaves, and it has a tag. So there's, this is the main thing. But the really cool thing that every now and then Stampin' Up does these, and I wish they'd do more of them because I really like them, is masks. And so I'm going to show you how to do these masks for this, and we're going to make a Mother's Day card or similar to this. I'm going to show you how to do that. Except it's going to be a little different, but this is the sample, so you get the idea. Okay, so now I'm getting myself out of the picture. Move this up so I know where to stay. Okay. Here we go. Excuse me. These the allergy season is here too, along with that beautiful weather. Right? Anybody else being plagued with allergies? Oh my goodness, it's just huh. Oh well. But I'm not going to complain too much because I just love spring. I'm just happy we have some warm weather and some flowers are coming up. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Excuse me, I need to show you the first part of this whole card is to stamp your floral onto a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 paper. So I use the Stamparatus to do this because that's just the easiest thing to do. This is the stamp, it's big. So you need the biggest, the really, really big block. And if you don't have the really big block, if you have a Stamparatus, that's the best thing to use. But I'm going to show you a little trick. If you don't have the big block, you don't have a Stamparatus, what will you do? Guess what? Just use your stamp case. Okay, ink it up. I mean, you can't go like that in your ink pad, but you can turn the ink pad over and ink it up. Put it down on your paper like that. Just make sure you press really good so that, because remember, it's hollow. So maybe you're better off going like that. Okay, but it works. It works. Just a little trick in case you happen to be without anything to make that big stamp work. So I used Memento Black, and I already stamped it, and I did use the Stamparatus. Now with this bundle, as I mentioned, you get masks. There are 5 of them in the bundle, and I'm going to show you a few things about the masks. Now they're numbered. They're numbered up here in the corner. There's a little notch. See that notch? You're going to want to use that. I'll tell you what for. And then there's a number kind of raised a little bit in there, but you can't see it. And so to me, that's useless. So I took a Sharpie and I wrote the number 1 on it so that I can see it. And I know which side's up. And I have my mask. And I mean, I have the notch. Now, what I want to show you, each one of them is numbered 1, 2, 3, and you go by the numbers. That's how you use them. That's the order you use them in. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to, actually we're going to do 2 of these tonight. One of them is going to be in pink and the other one is going to be in the Petunia Pop. And I'm going to start with the Petunia Pop because I already made, well, no, I'll start with the pink. I already made 2 pink. So I know pretty much how that's going to work. And so that's probably a good thing to start with, something, the devil you know. Now, the first thing I want to do And I think I've already, yes, I have. Oh my goodness, what a knucklehead. Okay, so I have, I have this, it's post-it labeling and cover up tape. Okay, and it's actually thinner. I'm using the thinner one, and the dispenser just fell apart on me. So I have the tape here. I cut a couple pieces of it and had it ready, and I had it sitting right on the edge of my glass mat. And then I leaned against it when I was talking to you because I was standing up. Hi, Connie. No problem. and, and I leaned on it, and so now I have all these white sticky things all over me. Connie, I don't know why I just thought of it, but you reminded me. I didn't pull a name for the card winner, and I'm going to do that. I've missed it for a couple of weeks. Linda, Linda wins the card. Okay, and Linda's not here, so we'll tell her when she gets here. Linda got the card last week because Linda was the only one that showed up live, but that really was my fault because I told you I was going to be at the Warnersville Library and I was supposed to be. But I canceled it because there was nobody else coming except for one lady. And I said to her, "Would you mind if I cancel it?" And she said no. So I did. So then I did the live instead. And Linda doesn't pay attention, so she didn't know I was supposed to be at the library. So she showed up. So I gave her the card. So last week, I think you guys all looked at it, all saw it on the replay, though. We did the birdhouse. I love that birdhouse set. That's so cute. Okay, I made myself a note that Linda gets the card. Now, I told you I have a bunch of these strips, and here's why. Because I already stamped my florals onto white paper, and I'm kind of lining them up with the grid lines, but you don't really have to. It doesn't really matter. I'm just doing it. And then you want to make sure you have this secure. Now these uh, post-it stickies work just like post-it notes do. They come up real easy. They don't rip your paper. Hi, Brenda. They don't mess anything up, so it's really nice to use them. Okay, and then you take your mask, number one, and you find where it fits on your picture, your, what you stamped. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret here. Okay, first, here's your notch. Mark your notch so that all the rest of your masks are going to line up right there in that, right there in that notch. And then if you mark the top corner, you got those two places ready to go. And make sure you secure this mask because you're going to be going over it with your, you're going to be doing a circular motion with it over it with your blending brushes. And so you want to make sure that you have it good and secure. Okay, so this is number one mask. This has a lot of definition out there, but it's your back of your picture. So you want these colors to be light, very, very light. Now, what I'm going to do here, because this has the roses, but it also has these flowers around the outside edge. Now, you can do them pink or you can do them another color. And I kind of liked a real soft yellow, so I went with lemon lolly for the background for those too. Um, so here's how we're going to do this. Now I'm going to take my pink first. I'm going to just stick my brush in there lightly, and then I'm going to get most of the ink off of it. I want this to be really pale. And just keep going around in circles. Now, if you start super, super light and you think it's too light, you can always add to it. But taking away from it's kind of hard. So stay with real light and build it up if you want. So keep just kind of going in a circular motion. I wiped just a little of it off. Now this works kind of the way when you stamp. If you stamp off, you get your different colors by stamping off. I mean, you can use one ink and get like 5 different shades out of that one ink, just by stamping off. Well, this works the same way. You're doing it by adding color. The more color, the more you go back over it, the more you're going to get color in it. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to give these guys a little pale yellow. I'm using my lemon lolly, and I'm just going to kind of go in here. And I'm not worried about them being real, real white. So you can take your lemon lolly and just go in there with it. In fact, I really like the tone on that is so bright. Now, when you're finished, don't do this while it's attached, but I'm keeping my pink out because I'm going to use it again. Now you're going to take your mask off, and we're still working on mask number 1, right? Take that off, and you have that soft, pale pink. Wipe your mask, but be careful when you wipe it. Wipe it off to get all the ink off of it, because the next time you use it, if you don't do that, you're going to be very sad and cross with yourself that you didn't do it. So make sure that you wipe it off, get all the ink off of it, because what's going to happen if you don't get all the ink off is the next time when you start going around in circles, you're going to pick that ink up and bring it in. And if you're using a different color, that's going to cause you some problems. So, okay, we've wiped that off. We're going to put it away. Now we're going to take number 2. Number 2 is going to, see the number 2 over here in the corner. We're going to take that notch, we're going to line it up there, and we're going to line it up in the corner where I put the mark up there, and it should come pretty gosh darn close to lining up with everything that's that's already on there, color-wise. And it does. So I'm going to tack it down. And I'm using the same colors. So you're wondering, well, what the heck? Why are you doing that? Well, because this time it's going to be a little bit darker. And it's going to put these contrasting marks in here, just a slight bit darker. What do you see? It's so pretty. So, so pretty when it's done. Okay, so that's the pink. Now for the yellow, I already went in there pretty heavy with the lemon lolly. So I'm going to now pull Daffodil Delight. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight to do that. Okay, so then I clean these brushes if I know I'm going to change colors, or a lot of people use one brush for one color. Like every time they use yellow, they'll use that. And every time they use pink, they'll use this one. I clean them off in between enough that I don't worry about that too much, but it's a good idea if you want to do that to always keep the same marker for the same color. And again, wipe off the color and do it gently so you don't tear the stencil. Well, hello there, Honeybee's Stamping Hive. Thanks for joining us. Susie, Sponge Dauber. Yes, you're right. The sponge daubers, I actually was using them for my first one, but I kept getting them caught, and I kind of was getting them messed up, so it just wasn't working as good for me. Thanks, Brenda. Okay, now we grab number 3. And number 3 is going to go in the same way. I'm going to match up the notch and match up the corner. Just check our picture here and we can see, well, this is going to be the centers of our daisies. I'm going to nail it down. How are things in Central Florida? Is it hot there? Okay, now for this layer, I am going to take this and I am not going to mush it around anywhere. I'm not going to take off any of the ink. I want this dark. So I'm just going to go right in here. And I'm just going to swirl it in as dark as I can get it. And then, since this is the centers of the daisies, what I decided to do with this is instead of, I was going to use Calypso Coral, but I just decided to take a blend and go ahead and color them with the blend. Because it's just the flower centers. And I want them to be Calypso Coral. And it was just easier than digging out a whole nother. Except yeah, that was Calypso Coral. Okay. Okay, that's that. Now that's number 3. We still got 2 more to go. So this is a little time consuming, but I'll tell you what, very hot down in Florida. Well, I'll tell you what, we were having rain and rain and rain and rain. And so I was really glad it got pretty warm today, pretty humid. And I was actually pretty glad for that because I was just tired of it. I was just tired of the damp, cold weather. And so I'll put up with a little humidity. Okay, here we are with number 4. Again, line up the notch, line up the corner. Now, choosing colors for this. I did a couple of different things. I was playing with this pretty much of the afternoon. And I started out using Granny Apple Green on the leaves. That was my first card. That was the sample card. That's this one that I showed you in the very beginning. But you know what? There's just not enough contrast there. So this time around, I decided to go with Garden Green and Shaded Spruce. So it's starting off, the first layer is going to be Garden Green. Same deal as all the other ones. Get a little ink on your things. Kind of squish it off a little so you don't have too much on there. This is a very, very, very pretty mask. Stencil, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a really pretty set. The whole bundle is very pretty. So that's the garden green layer, and that's pretty good with that. And the last layer, I'm using shaded spruce. Now, Connie, as soon as I got finished with these, I thought, oh man, I could have used evening evergreen or soft succulent. And I think that would have been really pretty for the leaves on this one. But this garden green does look pretty nice. Look, if you look at it now, it's pretty good color. And actually, the shaded spruce, which is my next layer, there's so little of it, but it just kind of brings it out, and it really ends up being very, very pretty. The shame of this whole thing is that I don't think you guys can get quite the effect. Okay, now I'm trying to get this lined up really perfect here. I just don't think you can get quite the effect on this camera. Of course, it's a cheap camera too, so that doesn't help any. And I'm using a different one, and I'm getting the shaded spruce. And I'm just going to kind of lightly go through this. I'm not putting this on heavy, just wanted to highlight the leaves a little bit. And when you're all finished, take off that mask and wipe it off. Oh, here comes Joey. Hi, Joey. You want to come up and say hi? Joey's looking for a treat. He's getting to be a scrounge. He doesn't want to eat his dinner, but he wants his treats all the time. Nope, he's not coming over here. I have a fan running right now, and he's not fond of the fan, but I need the fan to bring the air conditioning in. Beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? I think that is just really pretty. A little bit of yellow just to peek it out a little bit. Yeah, Connie, I agree with you. I'm starting to use, I like the way this garden green looks on this one. Like I said, I used granny apple green on this, and I just don't think I like it as much. And I also didn't play around enough with my shades here. So I like this a whole lot better. I really do. Now, it's not finished. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my die. I'm going to stick it in here. And I'm going to run over to my die cutter really quickly. I will be right back. Oh, okay. I used my die cutter for a embossing last, so I have everything set up for embossing. Now, if you don't like taking chances, which I just did, I just took a heck of a chance. You can use these white strips, this Post-it stuff, the same to hold down, or washi tape to hold your die down when you're cutting it. Okay, there's that. I think it's just really pretty. I really like the way that lets you layer on and just keep adding color and building it up and building it up. And like I said, this is all the same stamp pad. It's the pretty in pink, and you just keep building it. Each one put on a little bit heavier, and you end up with that. And it just looks so pretty. Now, what I have decided to do is I'm going to start with a white card base. And of course, you know measurements there, 8.5 by 5.5, and score it at 4.25. Make sure you burnish your edges really good. Then I have taken the designer series paper in colors, also pretty in pink. I think this is really cool paper. I really like it. And you know what? The stripes are pretty good too, actually. I didn't really think to look at that, but that might be just as nice. And I'm going to layer it like that. But if you put it this way, then you have your leaves. I cut it out with the deckled rectangles. The set, Connie, is called Leaves Layers of Beauty. So this is the stamp set, and it's a whole bundle. You get the stamp set, and of course the dies, and there are quite a few dies with it, and the masks also come with it. So I use deckled rectangles to cut this piece, and I'm going to just, oh my gosh, I have got 3 bottles that are empty. Yeah, I decided to use the leaves. I got 3 empty bottles of glue here on my desk. Susie, I thought this set was perfect for a Mother's Day card. And before I put this down, I'm going to take a piece of the in color ribbon, and I should have put it around the whole thing, but I'm at least going to get it around this. Of course, I don't know if you're going to see it or not, but I'm going to try. And I'm just going to tape it around the back. And this paper, this is from the Field Notes, or I don't think it's called Field Notes. I forget what it's called. And I do believe it's still available, but I don't know that either. I'm sorry. I kind of think a lot of you have it. And this is scraps. Yeah, that ribbon's not going to really peek through very much, so it kind of wasn't the point in putting it on. Oh well. So I'm going to glue this one down, and then I'm going to, whoa, I'm going to just go ahead and put the rest of that up on dimensionals. That's getting glued down. This is going on dimensionals. And it's going to take a few because it is such a big piece. And I'll tell you what else looks really cool with this one is the sequins. I'm not sure, I've used these on a couple of them. The pastel adhesive back sequins. They have the pink, the blue, and the gold. And with this, oops. Okay, I keep this little Stampin' Up cup. I keep this on my desk to throw these in, just to throw little scraps in. Well, it just happens to be sitting right next to a glass of iced tea, and I just threw all the backing of these dimensionals. I just threw all the backings of them in my iced tea. I tried to stick that on somewhere where you could see it through, see the ribbon through, but I wasn't very successful. Little pieces of the ribbon peek out here and there. And then I'm going to take these sequins. That's still very pretty, just like that, without the ribbon even. Could have done without the ribbon. And look at me, I'm sticking my elbows in these. I have these things, you can't see them in the camera, but I have these stuck here, and I keep getting up against them and getting them stuck to me. Put it out. Oh, the ribbon. That's what I should have done. Ugh, what was I thinking? Okay, let's see. Sequin, sequin. And the pink sequins are just so pretty too because some of them are they almost look white. Some almost look silver. I mean, they're just a very pretty iridescent. So there we are. We're not done yet. Of course we're not. Um, I wanted to find, and I wasn't successful, a stamp set that says Happy Mother's Day, but I know there is one. And so, oh, let's see. I'm going to look now because I know there is one. You know what? Before I have one that says Happy Mom's Day. Anybody think of anything that says Happy Mother's Day? So I'm going to look it up quick, see if I can find one. Oh, you learned that since you forgot to wrap the ribbon around the larger layer. Yep. I do that so many times. Okay, flower cart, beach day. Don't have either one of them. Stippled roses, I don't have that either. Um, Boy, I'm down 1,000. Well, I mean, like say, oh, okay. Hmm. Okay, guys. The silly part of it is, I just had one. I did just have a stamp set that's had a Happy Mother's Day on it, and I can't remember what it was. Oh wow, we'll punt. Um, there is a little tag die that comes with this set. And here's a solution for the ribbon too. Okay, I'm going to go cut a couple of these out. And I say a couple because I'm probably going to use it for the next card too. It's going to solve my problem. I will be right back again. Running this through real quick. And I'll show you a little trick that I figured out this afternoon with this set. I cut two out at a time just to save some time. Okay, so on this set, there's grateful for you. Well, I want the for you. So I am going to take the Grateful for You stamp. And I'm going to take my tricky little things here that have been driving me nuts. Put that on something that I can see through pretty well. I'm going to block everything off except the For You part. And don't forget to take that off before you stamp. There we are. Got a little doojiggy on there from the thing up above because I didn't mask that off as good as I should have. But I can live with that. I really can. It's just a little one. I'll keep that here because I may want it again. And then what I'm going to do, since I already messed up the ribbon, I'm going to take this linen thread and double it up. And tie that in a bow. Grab a little glue dot here. And stick that on that. So now you can't see that little mark there. And then this whole thing is going to go on a mini dimensional or two. Put the backing in the cup, not nice tea. And stick the whole thing. Oh, let's see, we can stick it right there. Put it down here. There. And then I will find my Mother's Day, my Mother's Day stamp, and I will stamp the inside with a Mother's Day stamp. Now, I'm going to do one more really quickly since you got the gist of that whole thing. I want to do it again in Petunia Pop just because I want to see how it looks because I did want to, I've done all of them in Pretty in Pink so far. And I have everything here ready. And I can do this. And my stamps are all ready. My knots are all ready. Here's number one. Line it up. And then I just want to show you one thing that I tried earlier that really came out pretty, but you know, well, you'll see. I'll show you what I mean. I tried using the white because in the catalog they have one with pink roses with white, and oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So I tried it. Well, it didn't come out as good for me as it did in the catalog, but I'll show it to you. So I'm going to use the Petunia Pop the same way that I did with the pink. I'm going to, let's see, here I have a brush. I want to get it really light for the first coat. I'm going to build it up the same way I build up the pink. Start off really super light. That doesn't go on light. That doesn't, I mean, it's not easy to put that on light. That goes on pretty dark. So be careful with the Petunia Pop. Okay, here's the lemon lolly again for these daisies. Or I guess they're not daisies, but whatever they are. That was easy enough. Take this off and go to number 2. Isn't it funny how you go through the catalog and you pick out what you want, you place your order and you get your stuff and you start working with it. Then you see somebody doing something with something else. And you go, oh, I have to have that. Oh, that's really neat. I need that. And for some reason, it never popped out at you the first time. But then when you see somebody else using it, it just, wow, I gotta have that. That happens to me so often. Sometimes I think I just have to stay off of Facebook. I just have to stay away from Facebook. I have to stay away from Pinterest. I have to stay away from all that stuff because it just keeps happening. Okay, so we're going to put a little bit of a darker shade on here now. Again, this isn't the darkest. This is just a little bit darker. And on the yellow, we're going to go with some Daffodil Delight. And that's number 2. So you can see this doesn't have to take that long. It took me that long the first time to show you because I wanted to explain everything to you, but it's not as tedious and time consuming as all that. It just seems that way sometimes. Okay, this number 3 is the hardest one to line up just because it's little pieces in here, but the easiest way to line it up is the centers of the daisy-like things. See, I moved it. Okay. I think I have it pretty good now. Now I'm going to go full strength on the petunia pop. And I'm going to also caution you that when you are doing this, when you first pull the mask off your last one, and you look at it, if it looks horrendously like too dark to you, let it alone, set it aside, move on with your greens, whatever. It's not that bad. It dries a little bit later. So, like right now, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a lot of dark and not so much light. But I know that's going to blend in eventually, and it's going to really look nice. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4 is my leaves. Connie says, I never gave this set a second look, but these cards are gorgeous. I just added it to my wish list. Looks like you got me again on that. See, Connie, that's what I mean. Somebody's always out there on Facebook giving you ideas. And the same thing happens to me. It really does. And I go, oh wait, I wasn't gonna get that set, but now I have to have it. Okay, garden green. Linda's going to be disappointed that she wasn't here tonight and saw that she won the card. I don't remember if she said she had to go somewhere. I don't know. Okay, there's our garden green. And one more layer. And that's the shaded spruce. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this card that I did with the other one and put it on the Petunia Pop Designer Series paper. Because now you see, you can't see this so good on this thing, but there's some white spots showing through this last stencil that you just don't realize that's putting in the shading. That's what's really pulling the extra shading colors out and adding some shading to this. Now, I'm going to keep this shaded spruce light. Just want it to fill in here and there. And there it is. Very, very nice. That dark color, I think, is going to lighten up just a little bit. The dark purple. And I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one. I'm going to take this, put my die on it. See, the die fits on here just absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to put the die on it, and I'm going to go over here and cut it out. I'll be right back. Okay. The die cuts beautifully too. It's like a butter. It just goes right through very nicely. Sometimes, the dies just don't cooperate as much as you'd like them to. It's not so in this is not the case here in this one. So I'm doing the same thing again. I am using white for my background. This time I am going to glue the light color onto the purple back. I already cut those out with deckled rectangle. I'm going to glue this on first. Then I'm going to cut my ribbon and put it around here. Yes, isn't that neat? I like all of these in colors, but now pink just is my color. So I really, really like the pink, but the Petunia Pop is gorgeous too. And if you're a fan of purple, which I believe you are, Connie, that is definitely pretty on this set. They really are. They're all pretty on this set. And my thought too, I don't want this card to take too long, but you could spend a lot more time on it. I was thinking as I was looking at this that there's this and there's just a couple extra flowers and leaves and things, and the dies have extra leaves with them. You could just cut a bunch of the leaves out in green and put them all around there, and that would just really, add it up, zip it up a little bit more. It would be very pretty. So I'm going to just glue this on, and you know what? That ribbon still gets hidden pretty much. Wow, thank you. Pop that on there. Put these up on dimensionals. So there's one in the catalog I started to say before that uses the Whisper White ink as instead of the Memento Black when they do the original stamping. And so there's no lines. And oh my gosh, it's so pretty in the catalog. So I thought I'd give it a try. And you know what? It's really very nice, but it's not as impressive as what I think these are. I just think this is gorgeous. And let's see, I used the sequins on the other ones, but I'm going to grab my very favorites. And I'm going to throw some butterflies on this one. Look at this. I have these pieces all stuck to my phone. Okay. And again, I'm going to do the exact same thing with that tag that I did on the last one. I'm going to just put for you on here. Doing it in garden green. And that F didn't quite all come out, but never fear. A marker that matches that 100%. So that's going to fill me in. That's one thing nice about those markers. They're the exact same colors as the ink pads. So if you mess something up or you miss a little bit of a spot or something, you can fill it right in with that ink from the ink pad and you've got it made. Yeah, you could do that, Susie, too. You could use the white powder. That would probably, the heat embossing, that would probably work really well. Because then the mask stuff wouldn't stick to it. Anything you do with the mask wouldn't stick to it. I might try that. Not tonight. Okay. So this is going to go in here. Goes there. This will be put on dimensionals. Again, I'm going to use the mini dimensionals. So you got the idea, because I did the same card basically twice. Carol, you like the purple better too. Okay. Maybe even up here. Yeah, that looks right there. Okay, let me just show you what else I tried here. Okay, you saw this one. This one, this was the first one that I did, and I tried using a designer series paper background. This is the designer series paper from the Zinnias. Then I tried the pink with the white. I used white, the Whisper White ink, and put the uh, image on here, and then just did the mask part with it. So that's how that came out. I do believe, Susie, that you got some idea. The white embossing powder would probably look better. The jury's still out on this, but I can tell you one thing. I like the background. I just embossed that. The used the paint to emboss it. So, and then here's the pink one like this. So there we are for tonight. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I enjoyed doing these cards, though. They were very much fun to do. So you may want to get this set. I'm sorry, but you might really want it because it really is fun. And I'm thinking that even though just starting with the light and working your way into the dark is really fun and nice and pretty, I'm thinking you could probably use contrasting colors, like maybe the I'm thinking the petal pink and calypso coral combination or something along those lines would be really pretty too. So you get the idea. Thank you, Susie. So thanks for joining me. See you again next week. And Joey says goodnight. He went to bed already. He's not around, so I guess I'm gonna have to say goodnight for him. I can pull these down so you can see him a little better. There you go. Thanks for joining me, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. See you next week, same time. Good night.